It's a good day. It's a great day.
A good day.
I woke up this morning so happy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
You know who did not have a great day?
Who's that?
Yesterday?
Yeah, no.
Nor did Caden Koyama have a great day, because what are they missing right here?
The same things they're missing in real life now.
Team championships.
You boys
La
ready?
Isla.
You boys ready? Nah.
Didn't we already?
Nah.
Nah.
Hey. Goodbye to those tag team champions from JK Pop. Congratulations, La Isla.
And you know what's even better? Preston finally got a little bit of his.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Balaam put a fistload of everybody's feelings directly into POS's face, and it was absolutely gorgeous. My goodness, come-uppins are a beautiful thing, aren't they?
Nice magic.
Mr.
You made JK Pop disappear.
I should have done the magic thing like they all do afterwards. Like, wow.
Yeah.
How's it going, everybody?
There they are down there.
How's it going, RMP faithful today? It is a fantastic day over here in Dudes and Belts land, that's for sure. As you just heard, there was a title change last night, and boy, oh boy, did it make every single one of these boys smile.
And new tag team champions. Now, let's give it a little bit of its due. Okay, let's give these guys the due that they do deserve. Okay, they were the tag team champions for over 1,150 days. Yep. I think they said 1162, which is like 3 years. Which
a long time.
In and of itself is absolutely ridiculous.
It's almost 4 years if you think about it. 1,100 days.
369, 60, 180. Yeah, it's like 3 1/3 years.
Yeah.
Little under 3.5.
They've been tag champs pretty much almost the entire time we have followed Rocky Mountain Pro.
Yes. Yes, they have. Yes,
but they're not now.
Not anymore, baby. Sha-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na. Hey, La Isla. Oh, Masshole's in a good mood tonight, baby.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Dudes and Belts. Actually, you know what am I doing? Hello. It's supposed to be a recharge special here. Welcome to another special episode of Dudes and Belts Recharge here on YouTube and Twitch. I am your host, Johnny Deathdrop, as always, and like we were talking about earlier, a lot of big things happening at Never Broken last night, including a title change, which we'll talk about in depth in a little while. But before we get into everything that happened at Never Broken last night, let's introduce the panel for this evening. On the left, we have the one that lived way up there on the east coast of Maine, the inventor of the Beacon of the Week, the one and only Coastal Crusader.
What is up, everybody? Never Broken was amazing. What a big night. Again, we already talked about one great thing that happened. And I gotta say, the commentary team, AJ, I stuck up for JK Pop and made up some outlandish things. You showed me some new ones last night.
Ooh. Calling out the new commentator right out of the gate here.
He's not wrong, though.
And on the right, we have our resident masshole himself, the one and only Marky Pins.
What is good, everybody? Yes, I am the masshole Marky Pins, and what a Never Broken we saw last night. Not only do we have new tag team champs, we have a couple other champions that managed to retain their belt in some interesting scenarios. Very interesting scenarios, along with a few other matches that we are going to get into. What a great show this was, man. This show had absolutely something for everybody. And that divide and conquer match was something else between Damon and Yaden for the NRW title. We're going to get to that because I got a few things to say about that match.
All right. Let's not waste any of the audience's time. Let's get right down into our official review of Never Broken. Starting off the night here strong, we had Sim Bodhi, the leader of the three-ring circus, going up against your Ignition champion, Zamore.
Yeah, Jumbo looked great in this. I mean, Sin is a veteran. and he brought the fight to Jumbo. But Jumbo really has done something since he kind of came back. And Zamore, what he has done is taken his demeanor that he had and harnessed it and made it into he walks around with so much swagger and confidence now. Even without Bud last night, he was on top of it, Marky. He was. He wins this with a Samoan drop, and he just drove Sin through the mat pretty much. Like, it's going to be really hard to get that Ignition title off of Zamore.
It's going to be nigh impossible. I mean, after the effort that we saw Zamore put in last night with Simbodi did as much as he possibly could to Zamore. He brought out as much as he could, all the shots and everything. But Zamore was ready for it, man. The tests of strength in the middle with the shoulder tackles to each other, standing up. Zamore did a smart thing. He worked on the back. He kept locking that bear hug, kept working the bear hug, kept going back to it. Each time it's going to wear him down a little bit more. We see the Operation Zamore drop. You can't call it the Jumbo drop anymore because he'll get mad at that now. I don't want to get him mad because this new Zamore, like you said, Coastal, is something completely different than we have seen ever since he succeeded in that drive to 5 and put that belt on his shoulder. He has been walking around with a completely different level of confidence and aggression, and it absolutely shows. And tonight, that Samoan drop at the end of the match was absolutely huge, and he ends up getting the win. But what really kind of threw me for a loop was after the match, we've seen this aggressive, hyper angry Zamore lately, and it suits him. Not going to lie, it absolutely suits him. But then we see him offer the handshake to Simbodi, which as a sign of respect, I get that, but that's very out of character for Jumbo. Maybe, I really think here that maybe Simbodi did a little bit more for Zamore than we think here with the test of XP in the middle of the ring. And I think Zamore realized that, which is almost even more dangerous. We talk about certain superstars that are hyper intelligent, but also hyper aggressive. David Drake comes to mind. Atiba's in that category. Damon Ace by far could be at the head of that category. But if Zamore is putting the XP and the knowledge with the hyper aggression, like you said, Coastal, it is going to be almost nigh impossible for anybody to take that belt off of him and become the new Ignition champion anytime soon. Utterly impressive. Zamore looking great in the opening match of the show last night.
Yeah, and Zamore's confidence is just going to continue to go up now. We know it's a lot harder to defend than it is to win a title. That is what every champion I have talked to has said. The defense is hard. I think this is one of those things where now Zamore goes, all right, I didn't just win it on a fluke. This is mine. Come get it. Well, everyone should be on notice.
Well, you guys saw last Thursday. I mean, he had an impromptu matchup with OVW's own Cash Flow.
And he won.
And he won. Mm-hmm. He beat him. He beat the Grizzly Vet, the two-time OVW World Champion.
Who looked great in the pre-show last night, too.
Yeah, and Zamore's chest looked wicked after that match with Cash Flow the other night. My goodness, did he chop Zamore back to the 1990s in that match? My goodness.
Poor Gino.
Oh.
I don't think Gino stand a chance against Cash Flow there.
No.
In that pre-show match.
I was talking to chops. They sounded like gunshots. Oh, and that's what Zamore has done too. There is dank on his strikes now. Everything just has a level of confidence to it.
Speaking of the pre-show, just your average Jen with comment of the night so far. Maxime was better on commentary than Casanova. Just saying. Beautiful. Love it.
Made more sense.
I mean, fact. Definitely cleaner. Definitely cleaner.
Definitely cleaner.
Uh-huh.
All right. This has been a match that we have been talking about for quite a while now. The OGs versus your starting lineup. One of these teams at the end of this match had to disband. And boy, it for a minute there, we didn't think we were going to have a match.
Yeah, right?
I'm sure Mr. Our Lord Mitchell Taylor would have appreciated that, but it was awful nice of your starting lineup to find him a tag team partner, huh, Marky?
Yeah, they kind of figured it out. Mitchell Taylor says that Niles Planquet was suffering from shrinkage. And if anybody's ever seen the Seinfeld episode of Shrinkage, that's what you thought. But then we found out that it was because of the odd weather in California that the grapes at his vineyard decided to wither. And he couldn't produce as good of a product as he was normally used to producing. So Niles Planquet was dealing with that. So Lord Mitchell Taylor's in the ring, and Briscoe and Kendrick LaRoe being men of honor. They didn't want to just take an easy win or a handicap match or anything. They found him a partner, and they pulled Derek Stone out, which is interesting because we know Stone got hurt not long ago. He's been doing a good job on commentary, on Ignition.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. He and Lucas are a good team to bounce off of.
He swept Maxine off her feet.
Right off her feet, right onto the handle, and he's got her by the hook.
If you're talking to Do List Studios, Maxine swept me away on commentary.
It was perfect. It was so clean and no dust left behind. Everything was great, right into the pan. It went very, very well. But no, Derek Stone comes up, and Derek Stone and Lord Mitchell Taylor have been having a little bit of like at odds, because as we've been seeing on Charge, Derek Stone's been a little bit out to lunch, should we say, in a lot of different situations, not on the same page with the other OGs. But Lord Mitchell Taylor knows that he's got to do this, and he's got Stone in the corner. He is an OG, but it kind of backfires on him, doesn't it, Coastal? As we end up through the match, your starting lineup's doing a pretty good job in the beginning, but then Lord Mitchell Taylor starts working on Briscoe, isolating him in the corner, a couple big corner shots and some chops and stuff like that. Derek Stone doesn't take the tag to come in, but then as we see, Kendrick ends up getting his way back in, and he and Lord Mitchell Taylor are working it up. Briscoe comes back in and goes to give Mitchell Taylor the big whip into the corner. But while we saw Derek Stone out there, Coastal, with his hand out, it wasn't his hand, was it? He had a fist out there, and Taylor runs square into it, baby.
I mean,
square into it.
I know it's one of those things, like, I didn't hit you, you ran into my fist. No, that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened. Yes.
You know, Derek Stone right now reminds me of Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story when he's having the tea party in his office rocker. That is what he reminds me of right now. That man, I think it's a good thing maybe that this match ended the way it did, because I don't think the OGs are going to be hanging out and going to barbecues anytime soon together after our Lord Mitchell Taylor ran into a fist. It was a good tag, though.
I mean, it was one kind of tag. It definitely was.
If his pinky was up, it would have got broke.
It's true. And Kendrick LaRoe did not have a care to give. No, got him right up, put the big old boot directly to the Crown's place, and 1, 2, 3. And your starting lineup gets the big win. And now, boys, the OGs have to disband. They are no more. Where does this leave Derek Stone? Well, not so with Derek Stone. I don't even know if he knows where he is half the time anyway, but where does this leave Planquet and Lord Mitchell Taylor? It already seemed like they were at some odds because he wasn't there tonight. He kind of left Lord Mitchell Taylor out to dry.
Well,
do you think this is over, or where does this lead them?
To be honest, Niles Plank during the gauntlet match, or the Battle Royale match, or the elimination match, the very first match of this tournament, Niles Planquet showed up drunk and just collapsed.
He was hammered.
Yeah.
He was hammered.
That is true. Yeah. I think we're going to see probably Lord Mitchell Taylor go and try to, collect his pound of flesh, if you will, from Mr. Planquet. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Lord himself make a trip to the vineyard.
I think that's very warranted at this point in time. It's very warranted now because of mitigating circumstances. The OGs are done. The OGs we saw had one hell of a feud with the 3-ring circus going back a few months ago, and they are a very, very formidable faction. No matter, any two of them could be fantastic tag teams and compete with anybody. But since it all kind of came unraveled from the inside out, now they're all on their own again. We'll have to see where this goes. But this tag team tournament, this elimination tournament was fantastic. From start to finish, from the elimination match all the way leading up here to the finals last night at Never Broken. Your starting lineup is still they've had a few ups and a few downs, but but I think more ups than downs. And this is a big up to say that you won the tag team elimination tournament. This is pretty big for these two young fellas.
Yeah, this is a confidence builder and a half here.
Yeah.
This should get them right on a good path leading to, getting up there for those new tag team champions to face at some point.
I firmly agree with you. They should absolutely, if they weren't before, which they should have been, but now this cements the fact that they should absolutely be in that conversation for some of the next teams to be the number one contenders.
Hold up. All right. So first things first here. I have a thing on Twitch. John, you love the shirt. Also, I think your mic is really soft on stream. Well, I can tell you right now, I just went through some tooth repair, I guess you could say, yesterday, so I'm still a bit sore. So my apologies, first off.
The mic has shrinkage.
I know, apparently my mic has shrinkage. I could actually probably...
You should use that.
I mean, is it SAWFT? Soft?
Soft?
Was the mic in the pool? I was in the pool.
I do like the question on here, though. If y'all can make any new tag team to make with current Rocky Mountain Pro talent, who would it be? I got a scary one.
Yeah, that better? Oh, that's a lot better. Holy, that's loud. Yeeks.
Damon and Sledge, I don't know if they'd get along. I don't
Imagine
know
if they did, though.
Coexist. An even scarier one is David Drake and Damon Ace. That's the scariest two human beings walking, and if they are both like on the same path and in the same direction with each other, that's a nightmare for any other two competitors. Don't care what company, don't care what affiliation. That's
you see them coming down the street and you cross the road and walk the other direction
as fast as your feet can take you.
Mm-hmm.
And it won't be fast enough because you'll turn around to see them. They won't be there. You turn back around to the front and they're there. They're like Michael Myers fast.
All right. First off, I hope that's a little better. It looks a little better from what I'm seeing over there. Second of all, To-Do List Studios, we don't typically answer questions to people who are not members. However, I understand that last night was a fantastic show, and obviously we want everybody to participate in the conversation tonight for Never Broken, so we're going to allow it tonight. We will allow non-members to ask questions to the dudes.
That's us.
Yes, that's us.
New tag team champions. Still juiced about this. I can't wait.
It was so good.
It was so good. What a match, too. The whole match.
Mm-hmm.
What a great match.
Now I can hear the mic in my ears. God damn it. See, I should have never touched it. Should have never touched it.
It's a Pandora's box scenario. You fix one.
It is.
Yeah.
It
all
is.
other things break.
All right. That's a little better. Check 1 2. Yeah, that's around the same that it was, but we're gonna change that. Change that real quick. Go over here. I'll actually bump up everybody.
What's up?
Gonna bump it up.
Reminds me of Madden 04.
Go up a dB here and see if that does anything. All right. We all done with your starting lineup and the OGs?
Yeah, I'm real happy for Kendrick and Briscoe. They worked super hard, and that was a big win.
Especially with Briscoe still running around on one leg. One good knee, one good ankle, and the other knee plus ankle equal half of a good one of either. Mm-hmm. And the kid is just finding ways.
No worries, Twister. Always nice to hear some feedback. Yeah, it's better? Good. All right. So, next up here, we have another pretty big matchup here. Atiba versus Bruce Wayans. When the loser has to be their subservient or the other person's subservient for 30 days. And the winner of this one was Atiba. So, guys, what is going to happen here?
You know what I was thinking about this? This actually might be a good thing for Bruce. Now, hear me out. He has been lost since Shocktober when he lost that belt. He has been stuck in this constant state of just getting close and failing, close and failing, close and failing. And he did it again tonight. And honestly, I'm going to agree with Atiba on some of this. He played to his fans too much during this match. It cost him this match, and now it's going to cost him a month of servitude to Atiba, who I can only imagine the toilets in his house are going to get cleaned. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to have to hold his robe in the morning for him. Unfortunately for Bruce, he did hit a lot of his signature moves, just not enough to get it done, Mark.
You know, Atiba was right there, one step ahead of Bruce Wayne's this entire match. Atiba had it scouted. He knew when the prettiest elbow was coming. He knew when it was all coming. He was there. When Boss likes to roll out and do that corner spear, the one more time when he'll run out and roll, we saw Atiba roll out behind him. And when Boss went to go back to the corner, Atiba wasn't there. And then next thing you know, Boss saw was Atiba's big tree trunk of a leg coming at his face. Atiba was just one step ahead of the final boss this entire match. And it showed from the minute that Atiba came out of the curtain. The man was literal all business. There wasn't any of the martial arts yells and the cries and all that stuff. It was just business. He came out of the curtain, he gathered himself, and he let out one like primal like scream from the inside, got himself in the ring, and was ready for business from bell to bell. And I think you're right, Coastal. I think Boss played to the fans too much doing his Boss stuff, which, don't get me wrong, it gets the people hyped. And honestly, we've seen it firsthand. He feeds off of that. He does feed off of it. Normally, though, he is the more aggressive of the two in a match. Last night, Atiba was by far the more aggressive and the more ready. I honestly firmly believe this match is a result of absolute preparedness. Atiba going to school, scouting his opponent, knowing what's going on. And don't think for 3 seconds that a lot of that, when Atiba was trying to train Boss and getting him to think different and change his mindset, that Atiba was not paying attention to everything, because he was. This match is absolute evident that he was ready for Boss far more than the final boss was ready for Atiba at this point. Bruce is always ready. He wasn't as ready as Atiba was last night, and it really showed. It really showed. And that's why Atiba come out of this match the winner, and Boss is looking up at the lights at the very end after a Dragon's Fang directly to the face. He fought valiantly, but everything Atiba did had that extra, like you said a little while ago, he had that extra dank on it. You know, it didn't matter if it was a chin lock. It didn't matter if it was a clothesline. It was turned up to 11, 12, and 13. And those were the little things. And there's a reason why Atiba won this match. Just go back and watch it. It'll be evident from the moment Atiba walks out from the back curtain.
I 100% agree, and that is the difference in the match. You are absolutely right. Seriousness. Atiba was all business. There was no low blows in this. He took very few liberties, really. I mean, if he can continue to perform this way, man, he's going to get back up to that top level real soon.
I mean, he's looked like one of those. He's looked like not even one of those, but a top guy.
He's in the semifinals in the Grand Prix right now.
Now, correct. Atiba has walked and carried himself and talked like a top guy for a long time. And this is different. When we were, last year at about this time, everything, in the chats and the emotes was sign Atiba. And I still believe that. And I still agree that he is of that level. We saw him on AEW, for God's sakes, not too long ago. The man deserves it. He's a hell of a competitor. This is now him upping his game even higher. And there are title matches and gold in his future in 2023. There is no way that he can be out of those pictures for another year. Not this Atiba, and not Big Teebs either. This is just the other side of Atiba that is putting it together. Big Teebs was uppercutting everybody in whatever their last name was. Yeah. Basically, like we like to say, every single match. This is not that Atiba. This is the Atiba that has turned the aggression up to 15, the moral fortitude down to 2, but the wins every single time.
Mm-hmm.
This is a dangerous Atiba right now. If you are a champion, this is somebody that is going to come knocking on your door very, very soon.
And you also got to remember, too, Atiba was a Brucey about a year ago.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Coming out with the foam fingers, playing to the crowd. But
The
started.
cutting board,
Yep.
do the thing.
Yeah.
And
But started struggling.
Yeah.
And then one day he just flipped. And now he's.
Casanova flipped it. Casanova flipped it.
He did. Not going to deny
Casanova
that.
put that thought in his head.
Yes,
But
he did.
at the same time,
Look what's happened.
Atiba kept on doing it. So, Atiba now, the big Teebs, is starting to act like the big Teebs. And it's all going good for Atiba right now. Maybe this subservient thing for Bruce Wayne's might be the thing that will get him kickstarted. Maybe he needs to be bossed around, no pun intended, for 30 days.
I mean, this has got to be his rock bottom, right?
I would think so.
Legit. How can it get any worse?
Right.
Somebody who just beat you, somebody who used to be your friend, who is really not so much your friend anymore, and then that guy beats you, and now you have to walk around on eggshells for the next 30 days waiting
Mhm.
for whatever request comes up, and you can't just say no. Somebody in chat or back here a little while ago said he went from the final boss to the final butler. And, you know, it's very, very
Not
true.
wrong.
No, not wrong at all.
Nope.
It's going to be a tough times. Like, boss is facing some tough times coming up pretty soon here, Daddy. And
Maybe this is what he needs, though.
It's possible. A little kick in the complacency has a way of changing a man sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on here. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a Charge Championship up for grabs here last night. We had Remy D going up against Manny Lemons. And Remy D made lemons into lemonade. Let me tell you.
Yeah, he did.
Remy D continues to show why he is the gutsiest performer Rocky Mountain Pro has. Oh, like one arm, doesn't matter, just out there doing work and winning and winning and winning. And all credit to Manny Lemons. The man may be a scumbag and he steals gear, but he brought it. And he was about 3 seconds away, pretty much, at any point during that match of winning. That title was very much a couple of times. Very much, I thought it was going to switch.
No record, though.
but-
I'm surprised.
Yeah, no Rekka. That was interesting. I don't know maybe if Remy had somebody's travel plans altered, but it was good because we got a nice, clean, good match. As much as we can. I mean, Manny does like to take his liberties, and that's what you got to do when.
But at
when you
least it stayed. But at least it stayed between the two competitors, and we didn't have to worry about a third party somewhere else coming in and, you know, making their presence felt and interfering in the flow of what was going on. You know, if you're in the moment and somebody starts taking liberties on the outside, throwing you into the railing and stuff, you could kind of accept that. You don't like it, but at least there's not two people doing it to you, messing with you, and you don't feel like you're in a handicap title match.
Yeah, you can at least concentrate on the task at hand and not what's going on outside of the ring.
Right. Remy is very capable, more than capable, of handling himself one-on-one against most anybody, if not anybody. We've seen him fight just about any and everybody in that locker room. And this fight against Manny Lemons was just that. It was a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Remy started it in the beginning. As soon as the bell, man, Remy goes nuts. Lemons takes the advantage. It keeps going back and forth. Eventually hits that lemon drop, that his version of the Samoan drop, and I thought it was over. I thought it was over right there. At that time, Remy's reeling. His arm is hanging. He can't even use his left arm. It's hanging. And then he takes the Samoan drop on his left side as well. I figured that's it. That's it. But he just gutsy, Coastal, like you said, gutsy, to get up and get back out of it. and reverse a power bomb into like almost like a Hurricanrana driver.
It looked like a Frankensteiner that Scott Steiner used to do way back in the day. Like,
yeah,
it was a spike.
Yes, yes, he exploded the lemon.
Yeah.
Good for Remy. I was sitting there dancing the whole time.
What a great win.
Remy's entrance music does not end in my head when the bell rings. It just keeps going. And
the whole match, I hear it.
I'm sitting here taking notes. Dun, 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 dun. Wow, what a move. Dun, 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 dun.
So Remy D is on the way to 1 long year as charge champion. I think that's close to the longest in history. I think we're about to break some more records this year, folks.
And what a reign it's been. Look at the defenses that Remy has had.
Damon Ace was close the other year. He was very close to a year with the charge title as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I do believe, though, that Remy D has definitely defended it more.
I'm not going to say who. When did he win the charge championship, Damon?
I believe it was Never Broken of 21.
Yeah.
I believe it was.
He beat Boss for it, right?
Okay, yes.
With JK Pop's help. Yes.
And then he lost it at Aces Wild in 22.
Right.
Yeah. So he held it for like 9 months. Yeah. And it was a 9-month reign of terror.
Yeah.
Wait. Yes.
I want to give a shout out to Twister Chaser 91 for subscribing to Tier 1 for 4 months.
Thanks, Twister.
Over on
Thank
Twitch.
Twister.
I think Remy's going to be closing in pretty soon. It would probably be after Milestone, but I think he'll be the longest charge champion in the history of RMP.
Actually, I think at this point he's equaled it because didn't he win it back at Milestone?
He won it back at Milestone.
At 22, right? We're at 9 months now because Milestone is in just about 3 months now.
Well, there's been multiple charge championships before. Obviously, there's like Curtis Cole and Stephen Ashburn and all these guys.
Yay!
I don't remember. It was told to me one time, like a year and a half ago. I don't remember how long the longest reigning charge champion is. If there's anybody who has any relation to Rocky Mountain Pro that wants to throw out that fact to me to see who the longest charge champion is, please do let us know.
Maybe Lucas could tell. Oh
no,
yeah,
no, too soon, dude. Too
soon.
Lucas,
I forgot
that dude has had a really, really crappy 23.
Mm-hmm.
He has really had a bad year so far, man.
We got Hoagie the Bowler in Twitch.
Hoagie! Dude, our Canadian dude. What's up, buddy?
All right.
Halifax homie.
I don't see anything in chat yet. If it happens, I'll point it out during our conversation. This might actually be our last one before we take a break. So, this match right here, it looks like this horror story is continuing between Lilith, Grimm, and the Asylum.
Yeah. Yeah, the Lilith's had a rough 23 too. And I don't know what Salem tells the marionette Noelle before she goes out, but she's terrifying. Like when we were out there in June, she was the juvenile delinquent, and it was okay. Like
she was cool. I talked to her a lot. I refed a couple matches, and
she was a raging
kid.
Ball of fire.
Yeah, she was, kid.
Now she's certifiably nuts and sadistic, and I don't know what happened.
Certifiably nuts is an understatement.
Yeah, like the aggression of that little girl against her former friend. Like Salem has a spell, or he unlocks something in you that is like a superpower and makes you just unstoppable. Like it was incredible.
We were talking for. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, it's okay.
On that exact note, many times when we had been watching Noelle Summit wrestle on Ignition as she was coming up, and it was a big deal. She got her green shirt. She was so happy about it that she was ready and it was going. And we had said that she was doing so well. She just had to turn that aggression factor up a couple, and she'd be right in the middle of everything. And she was putting the pieces together. And then Salem Wolf said, I can help you do it faster, kid. And then what did she do? She lost her mind. She turned up her aggression factor up a whole bunch more. And look what she's doing right now. She's in big, high-profile matches. She's toting around with the Lockettes champion and with that mastermind himself, Salem Wolf. She's put herself in a position to be successful and succeed and move forward and learn under JC's tutelage, and she can only get better from that. So she has taken the leaps and bounds that some people take a couple years to take.
So you're saying it's a good thing that Noelle made the switch?
I'm not necessarily saying it's a good thing, but it was what we had said before, that if Noelle Summit wanted to be successful, this is not Noelle Summit.
Yeah, I know.
This is the marriage.
It's one of those things, like aligning with Salem is making a deal with the devil.
Yes.
You get what you want, but it costs you more than you think it does at the time. You think you're getting a deal and you are going to accelerate your career, but then he owns everything and he manipulates.
A fine print at the bottom of that contract, a wicked fine print that only he can read.
But look at the results. Lockettes champion. Noelle is on her way up the card and soon will be right there with JC. JC went from being the Brazilian Wonder Woman to Death Incarnate, kicking people's heads off as she did tonight.
Last night.
Last night, while they made Lilith watch. They have an agenda, and it is to make Lilith Grimm's life hell.
I think that's clear at this point. That has been the agenda. We wondered for a while what was the Asylum's endgame. And I think that is the end game. I think it might have been in the beginning to attract Lilith to that side by taking all her friends there. Maybe she would go there. But since she had been so very resistant to that, now it turns all the effort in from trying to make sure that now Lilith's life is a living hell. And they are succeeding one show at a time.
That is very interesting you say that, Marky. I wonder if Salem is bitter that he couldn't have Lilith.
I wouldn't put it past him. He seems like that kind of man who, if he has his mind set on something, he doesn't seem as though he just walks away if he fails.
Well,
yeah.
If he fails, he puts that on you, and you're going to pay for it.
Well, let's face it. We look at the land of the Lockettes right now.
Yep.
Who do we have right now? We have JC as your Lockettes champion.
Yep.
We have Lowell the Adventurer. Yep. We have Lilith Grimm. We have Noelle.
We had Skylar Slice.
They
destroyed her.
And we just got Brittany Brooke, who made her debut last night.
Tried to help out Lilith.
She
could.
Miranda Gordy's still hurt, from what I understand. So, haven't seen Malaya Hosaka in a little while. So, by the looks of it, the way that this Asylum thing between JC, Noelle, Lilith, and Salem Wolf is going, there is going to be a collision course at some point soon. A big collision course. And it's probably going to involve that Lockettes championship. And I'm sorry, but right now, your number one contender for this Lockettes championship going forward on the road to milestone 13 here is Lilith Grimm right now. So I believe there is a collision course setting up at some point soon. And even though there was no sign of it last night, you can't sit here and tell me that Lilith Grimm isn't thinking about what's inside her right now. Like as her past self.
You know, I was just going to say, Johnny, you push Lilith too far.
That's what I'm saying.
Pushes her to a point. It cannot be pretty, as we've seen.
So
I remember the demon Lilith Grimm. I'm sure a lot of people in that locker room remember the demon Lilith Grimm.
Yeah.
A lot of people were scared of the demon.
I was.
can the demon outdo an asylum? And that, my friends, will be the crash course that we are going to run into at some point in time. The Warhammer has tried. The Warhammer has tried everything she can to keep it together, keep herself together, and keep getting wins. The Asylum keep getting one up, as they did last night with Lilith Grimm. She doesn't get the chance to even wrestle with Skylar Slice. We saw what happened. They took Skylar out, and Lilith is left without a partner. Brittany Brooks comes out, offers her services to Lilith, and here we go with the match. But it was much more of the same. The Asylum just owning the ring, having moments where they were on their heels, but then regain because they just kind of lose it for a second and they go into their own little things and they absolutely lose it.
But they also took Lilith out of the match for the most part. And even Twister Chaser 91 mentioned it in chat over here on Twitch. Lilith wasn't even a part of this match, and this match was supposed to be all about her and the Asylum.
That and this is my point. That was Salem's plan. It had to be, because it's going to drive Lilith completely bonkers and batty that she can't do anything to get to them. Nothing. He's always one step ahead. Like he didn't even. Honestly, he probably instructed them to not let her get in that match at all.
And she had to run in the end of the match, not even be tagged, and run in and just start. And don't get me wrong, when she ran in, she came in like a damn house of fire, she did, and started just throwing her weight around, which is fantastic. The strikes and started working. But then she was so out of her own element that she was not the legal woman in the match, but she's tried to stop pinning people. She just wanted to get this in and over with. There's that much rage, that much angst that she knew she wasn't legal, and she still tried to pin. Spicer rightfully didn't count the pins, but she was just out of her element. The Asylum is just driving her.
Salem is
wall. This is not Lilith losing it. This is the Asylum executing their plan. And JC and Noelle, we have to say one thing about JC and Noelle. Same page, same time, same ring, every single time they're together. There is no need for them to even discuss or talk. They are at a level now where they both know what's going on. Good tags, very frequent, fantastic chemistry between the two of them. As we see at the end, when Noelle comes in and the big boot to Lil gets her out of there and then holds Lil down, while JC gives the big Ushigoroshi. I love that move. Gave her the big Ushigoroshi to Brittany, and then the 1, 2, 3. They knew it. They executed it flawlessly, and they did what they had to do. And Noelle and Brittany are just left reeling in the middle of the ring. Lilith and Brittany are left reeling, and it's a tough time to be Lilith Grimm right now. It really is. I don't know how the kid's still doing it, but she's doing what she's got to do, but she's got some hard times ahead of her here.
That knee strike JC had. Oh,
my God, that knee.
Curious to see who has the longest title reign for each title. If, like I said, if we have somebody from RMP that wants to spit that info in chat, please
well, we
do.
know the Vulture is.
Vulture was, but how many though?
2 years.
He was 2 years.
It was over 2 years.
He broke Danger Dean's record.
Just Your Average Jen brings up a very good point. Usually Lucas can answer these questions off the top of his head, but Lucas is not here right now, so leave a message after the beep, and we don't know where he is. We really hope he's okay somewhere.
I think if Lilith was involved in this match a little bit more, I think we might have a different outcome.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
That wasn't their plan.
Well, I know it wasn't their plan, but I'm just saying as the devil's advocate on the other half here, I think if Lilith Grimm was involved in this match more and wasn't singled out, which kudos to the Asylum for coming up with a way to take Lilith out of the equation of this match so they can pick up the win here. I think if Lilith was involved, I think we'd be talking about a different an outcome here. But at the same time, we'll see what happens going towards Peak of the Pack. Because Peak of the Pack decides a lot of stuff.
Yes, it does.
And if there is a Lockett's championship #1 contendership up there, up for grabs there, at peak of the pack, bet your ass there's a good chance that Lilith's probably going to grab it in season, and that's her ticket to the Asylum.
The pack is like base camp for the climb to milestone.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
I like that. Base camp. I do like that.
I just came up with that.
If you think about it, right? You have milestone. Let's go back to the mainstream for a second here. WWE. They have WrestleMania. That's coming up in a couple weeks. Let's just say the Royal Rumble is the start of the road to WrestleMania. Let's say. Okay? Well, Never Broken last night was technically the start to the road to Milestone 13. Because you have the peak of the pack, which would be the Elimination Chamber in WWE. There's always that show in the middle. And then you have the big one. You have the payoff. So, we're on the road to Milestone officially.
And don't forget, winner of Peak of the Pack gets the shot at Milestone.
We'll explain all of that because that's a match that we need to take some time to really figure out because it's changed the past couple of years. So we'll see if it's the same format again. Let's see. Oh, I should no-sell this, but I'm not going to. A masshole word of the day.
I hate you.
I really should, but I can't.
So, this is very simple. The masshole's word of the day is beers. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you're talking to a New Englander, he could be talking about a beer. Or he could have said it real quick. He could have been up where Coastal lives up in Maine, and there could be 5 bears running around and about to eat them. So you never know in New England if you hear somebody talk about beers, if it's a beer or if it's a bear. You never know.
Interesting.
I hate you, John. And you know why. And you know why. So.
Did you even bring up roundabouts or rotaries?
Oh, we've talked about that one.
I think we brought that one up, yeah.
Yep.
Did we bring that one up?
Did we do road?
In Canada, they're roundabouts.
Roundabouts. And here in Massachusetts, we call them good lucks. Because good luck getting out of it without dying or having your car be hurt. That's a bonus masshole word of the day is the rotary.
Yeah. See, Hannah goes, don't hate
suck,
Johnny, hate me.
No, I hate Johnny. And he knows why.
I might, but.
Love you, buddy.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're at halftime right now in the review to Never Broken. We're going to wait for our other compadre to hop on here, Triple I. So, in the meantime, we got about 10 or 15 minutes before that happened. We don't want to go too far ahead. We want him to be involved in the second half of this conversation. So, what food do you want to talk about tonight, folks?
Are we going back to foods and belts now?
Foods and belts.
Remember, it's pizza on pineapple.
No, it's not. What it is, though, is it's Happy St. Patty's Day season.
Yes, it is. A couple days.
For those people out there that love good old boiled dinner, I don't know if that's a masshole word. Is that a masshole thing?
No,
is that only in?
No. I got my corned beef.
Does everybody call it boiled dinner? Does everybody call it boiled dinner, or is that a New England thing?
I think that's a New England thing.
Is it?
If you say you're having boiled dinner,
the Irish is pretty prominent in the Boston area, so that could be a case actually. Yeah, that could be a case.
That might be boiled dinner. Yeah.
Is anybody in both YouTube and Twitch chat? Do you guys call your St. Patty's Day dinner boiled dinner?
Beer and sausage season, Lady Catherine and Faye. That's good.
She's not wrong though.
No, not wrong. Really. I'd rather beer and sausages than boiled dinner. To be honest, I'm not a boiled dinner guy.
Nope. I use a crock pot overnight, and then definitely New England. It might be a new. You might have just squeaked away with a word of the day here, buddy.
That's great.
No, see, I can't.
When I didn't even. All right. I'm gonna tell. All right, there's a little peer behind the fourth. So before we started, I said to John, I was like, I don't have a mass whole word of the night tonight. If it comes up, please no sell it. And then John decides not to and put me on the spot. And I came up with that whole beer thing immediately as I was saying it. And I swear to God, I'm going to fight on you, John, someday. But anyway, boiled dinner here in New England.
Fart on you someday.
Boiled dinner. I don't know if people call it boiled dinner, but here in New England, if you tell somebody you're having boiled dinner, that is corned beef, cabbage, the potatoes, the carrots, the whole 9 yards that you would think
good stuff.
of.
The good stuff.
Basically, you could like cook it. You take it all, you throw it in a big pot of boiling water until the point where you can drink the whole thing with a straw.
With some Jameson. The Jameson's important.
Corned beef and cabbage. All right, so Kelly, that is a boiled. Okay, so other people call it boiled dinner too. All right, all right. The mass hole is not a huge fan of the boiled dinner. Not a huge fan.
Oh, I love corned beef and cabbage.
Why?
I don't like the cabbage. Corned beef tastes weird.
Take the cabbage out.
You can still taste it.
No, you take the cabbage and then you just soak it in vinegar.
That's really what it is anyway.
It's a vinegar delivery device.
It's basically a head of lettuce with vinegar on it. You can't even taste the cabbage. Let's be honest here.
Yes. Oh, it's.
Oh wait. Okay.
Can't get by it.
Mustard or no mustard on the corned beef?
No mustard. No mustard.
Oh, I gotta have mustard.
Both my parents were mustard when I was growing up. They used to force it down and make us eat it, and I couldn't.
If I'm having boiled dinner,
parents.
I am taking my slab of corned beef, and the only thing I'm doing is a light hint of pepper, because you don't need salt, because it's salty as hell as it is.
Wow.
Cabbage is really good fried. I agree.
Never had fried cabbage. Never had fried cabbage.
Cabbage with bacon and onions in it.
Really?
It would like absorb those flavors wicked good.
Yeah.
I could see that. Okay.
I like how when we start talking about food, Lady Catherine comes in. Oh, that's my cue. Here we go.
Yeah, right. We hit all the niches in the chat over here on the Dudes and Belts.
All we need is Gordon Ramsay to be on a wrestling event. And you know what? We found a new show.
Oh God.
Could you imagine cooking with the RMP superstars? I want to cook with Sin Bodhi. I'll do that. I would do that.
What?
Could you imagine cooking with Sin Bodhi?
Actually, you know what? Yes, I could.
Hey, how about cooking with David Drake?
You'd never know what to do. He wouldn't tell you. He'd just look at you and put that in.
Yeah, he wouldn't even do that. He'd just look at the ingredients
smile at you, hit you with a pipe.
Just trying to look at chat over here real quick. The chat's lively when we talk about food, which is why we should always save a food segment on Dudes and Belts here. I'm telling you. And of course, we're in St. Patrick's Day season. St. Patrick's Day is in a few days. Unpopular opinion, not really an opinion, but just something that I haven't done yet. I have never had a Shamrock milkshake at McDonald's.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing.
You're not missing much.
Oh, you shut your mouth. They are great.
I mean, it's ice cream. If the machines ever working, first off, you get
one. Let me tell you the hack. They have a Shamrock McFlurry now, and you put Oreos in that. You're welcome.
Oh, yes, I saw that too.
All right. That's up in the game a level. That's up in the game. All right, I'll give you that one. With the crunchy, with the minty shamrock. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that with the McFlurry. I got to try that. I never tried the McFlurry.
But I've never had a Shamrock shake before from McDonald's.
Yeah, because the machine's always broken when you go.
I don't even ask for it. I don't even recognize it's there. To be honest with you. But I've never had it.
Burgerville's is better. What's Burgerville?
What's Burgerville?
Yeah,
We don't have those here out east.
We have just about every other burger place in the world, with the exception
not
of
really.
In-N-Out.
No, we don't have Jack in the Box. We don't
Yes, we
have
do.
In-N-Out.
We have
We
Jack in
don't
the
have
Box
Jack in
here.
the Box. Where is the Jack in the Box? I will go now.
Yeah, it was good. That was one of the things I wanted to have when we went to Colorado, and I got it.
I thought
it
that was out
better
west,
burger.
Western Mass.
I know the closest Sonic to my house is in Massachusetts.
Yeah, Saugus.
The one in
Yeah.
Saugus. There were
Yeah.
4 of them. They built 4 Sonics in Massachusetts, and within 6 months, 3 of them were closed.
There was going to be one near my house, and they didn't even end up opening to begin with.
They didn't. The popularity wore off really quick.
Yeah.
And I'll say this right now: I've had Sonic like from the south, like where it already was, and it was far different, far better than the Sonic that we got up here. Far different. Oh, the other one that we didn't, Whataburger. Yo,
We don't have
Whataburger
Whataburger, yeah.
had it on the way back from
We have
Colorado.
Wahlburgers, but we don't have
Which is-
Whataburger.
Unpopular opinion, Wahlburger.
I haven't been there yet.
Wahlburger's not good.
It's not good.
Like
No,
it.
I'm not a fan of Wahlburgers. You know,
Yeah, Sonic is a
Mark
wicked hit or
Wahlberg,
miss, Kelly.
Donnie Wahlberg, those famous Wahlbergs. Yeah,
Good
their
actors.
burgers are not good.
Good musician, I guess, with new kids. They make shitty food.
Like everything else in Boston, you're paying for the name or what street the store is on that you're buying the product from.
Basically,
Except for any Italian restaurant in the North End.
Oh,
If
I will
it-
spend whatever I have to
Oh,
get down
yeah.
there.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
good God, yeah. You come to
If-
Boston, first thing you need to do, all the touristy people that come to Boston, you have to go to Haymarket, walk yourself, which is the downtown area of Boston, more like the farmers
Mhm.
market area in the summertime, and you walk yourself into the North End. Pick any restaurant. There is not one that is better than the other one
Nope.
because they all have a bunch of like older fat Italian people in the kitchen cooking, and is the most delicious Italian you could ever ask for in any restaurant. I don't care. And if you
In the
get a
summer,
curry, you go to Mike's.
Mike's
Mike's
Pastry.
Pastries.
Mike's
Yes.
Pastry.
Go to
Best
Mike's
pastry in
Pastry
Boston.
at 11 o'clock at night and wait in the line because everything is
Good
half
luck.
off, and it's
And
worth it.
everybody is hammered. Best of luck.
Because they were all just in the North End eating.
and drinking. They all walk out like
Or
Niles
coming
Clonkay
from a
after,
Bruins
like,
or Celtics
4
game.
bottles of red.
Yeah.
In-N-Out
It's
is,
cool in the
is
North
always
End.
great. I've never had In-N-Out. I've
Sure.
been to Denver 4 times already, and I still haven't been to In-N-Out.
We
For
never made
any-
it to In and Out. Yeah.
Yeah. For any, I went to In-N-Out in Vegas. It's not bad. For anybody that hasn't been to the North End, though, it's cool because when you walk down the street in the summer, they actually can flip the entire front of the restaurant up into an awning, and you eat outside.
Yes. Yeah. Don't drive to the North End.
Don't drive in Boston. Period.
Don't drive in Boston. You take the T. That's a
Yeah.
4th bonus masshole word of the day. The T.
The
It's not a
T.
letter. It's a word. It's a way of life. In
And it's
Boston.
not the train, it's the T.
It's the T. If you come to Boston, don't ask where the train is. Don't ask where the subway is. You ask where the subway is, we'll send you to New York City. We'll
Mhm.
make sure you get there too. We'll send you to North Station. You take the Amtrak all the way down to Long Island and get the hell out of here. No, you ask where the nearest T is, and we'll send you where to go.
There's a green line, a red line, a blue line, and an orange line.
And a gray
And if
line or a silver line.
If you
Oh, yeah, that's
Silver
the
line.
one.
But that's a bus line. But if you say the purple line, that's like the commuter rail. Those are like our express trains. If you say, where's the purple line? We'll laugh at you.
Yeah,
We'll laugh at you.
that's the commuter rail.
It's the commuter rail. Right.
Yeah.
It's a commuter rail. Wow, for a guy that didn't have a single masshole word of the day, I think we came up with like 4 of them in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, basically.
Mm.
I hate you, John.
You're welcome.
It's food. We all love
So
food. It
yeah,
makes us
the
happy.
other reason why you don't want to drive down to the North End is because the roads are still basically brick and
Yeah, they're
concrete.
cobblestone.
Yeah,
And
they're cobblestone still.
And they're smaller than your car.
Yeah,
So-
you can't get a truck down North End.
The masshole used to drive tow trucks in downtown Boston. I used to be the guy that the police would call when you parked your car at the meter and you forgot to feed it. Or like my company used to do a lot of, we called them trespass tows, and I would have to do those, get out of my truck at 3 a.m. in the seediest part of Boston and try not to get shot. I did that for a whole bunch of years. And in the beginning, I remember towing, and they used to send me to do all the North End calls and runs that we had to do. And that's because tow trucks don't fit in the North End. And when I would get back, and all the guys would be laughing their faces off at me because I couldn't get the car. You start to figure it out. It's like new guy initiation.
Yeah.
Don't drive in Boston. Don't try to park in Boston, and don't even think about like driving a car in the North End. Don't even think about it. It's not a thing.
And then, of
Absolutely not a
course,
thing.
Twisted Chaser 91 on YouTube, making the switch over from Twitch to YouTube.
Yeah.
Man, Boston sounds like a welcoming place.
Bro, they don't call us massholes for nothing, guy. We earn that. It's like a badge right on a sleeve right there, like my number 20 right there. It's a badge.
It really is a good city.
It is.
Just don't drive in it, for God's sake.
No.
So,
And it don't smell anywhere near as bad as New York City does.
No,
even close.
no,
Not even close.
No.
come to Boston in the summer, because honestly, anything in New England in the winter sucks.
Not wrong. Not wrong. We are miserable people. None of us see the sun all day long. And there's little kids flipping you off in the street.
Yeah. They're walking to school in the snow. They give you the bird.
It's true.
It's like waving.
I used to be one of them.
Just make sure you go catch a game at Fenway Park when you're down there.
Definitely hit up Fenway Park before you go to the Garden. You don't have to worry about so much the Boston.
Even if it's not for a game, they have tours there too. Go to Fenway Park and talk about their tours.
Dude, the tours are even better. They let you out on the field.
Yeah.
Like, you can't go out on the grass and stuff, but the whole warning track all around the stadium, they take you all out there. They show you all the indents in the green monster. They show you the red seat where Ted Williams hit a ball, the furthest home run ever in Fenway Park. There's so much history in that ballpark. I think it opened, I think, 2 weeks after the Titanic sank, or a week after the Titanic sank. Off the coast of Nova Scotia, Fenway Park had its first game, so they're forever connected.
And I cannot stress this enough. Before the game, go on Lansdowne and go to the bleacher bar and try and get your way to the cage in the front, because it's literally on the field and you get to watch batting practice and you can touch the warning track through the fence.
You can.
It's really cool.
And also there is a House of Blues there as well, right across from Fenway as well. So
yes, there is. I saw Augusta there this year.
If you're not going to a game, there's always a House of Blues, and there's always a concert going on, especially during the weekends. And it's not far from seeing big names too. Like, if let's say if you're like a Godsmack fan or like a Disturbed fan or even like the pop fan or something like that. Like, I think there was a couple times that Nicki Minaj was at the House of Blues. So
probably, I wouldn't doubt it. It's a big name. A lot of the stars, when they come through and they play Boston Garden or something like that, they'll play a couple little smaller shows in Boston, and especially Cambridge, big college town right next to Boston, like Harvard University and MIT.
Fire and Ice, baby. That restaurant I will go every time.
There's the Middle East.
Oh man,
like that little bar that's down in the basement where like some of the biggest names have played to rooms of only like 200 people. They'll find these small little venues. Good stuff.
Five Guys has good fries. Do we agree with that statement? That's all you get at
Five Guys. That's all you get at Five Guys. It's like, here, you want fries? Here, we don't care. We have 9,000 bags of potato out here. Here, have all the fries you want.
That's basically what it is. You could get a small size and end up walking out with a large, dude, because it's all on the bottom of the fucking bag.
I mean, if you just walk up and be like, hey, can I just, can I get a small fry? You're going to go home with a bag of French fries.
Yeah. Unpopular opinion.
Uh-oh.
Five Guys is gross.
It's just greasy.
Dude, if I wanted that much, I'd go to Market Basket. I'd go buy myself a 1 gallon sized tub of Crisco and a spoon, and I just sit there and watch something and just eat. It's the same thing.
Just go take your paper towel and just dab it off like you would a greasy pizza.
No,
how dare you sully pizza with a napkin?
I don't say I do it.
I don't care. Pizza Lord put that grease on there for a reason. It is to help the cheese go through.
Oh, God.
Never was a Five Guys fan. There's one right down the street from our house, John. Actually,
yeah,
John.
I know. Yeah.
And I live not too far.
You know what? Here's my thing about Five Guys. And it's the same thing as Olive Garden. I can make a hamburger at home. You got to wow me with it. You don't wow me. I'm sorry.
Right.
Don't even throw Olive Garden in there. I would prefer Ralphie's in Salem, New Hampshire than I would anywhere else Italian right now, especially Olive Garden. I am not an Olive Garden guy.
No, I'm not either.
I
will say this, though.
I am going for Italian. If I'm going for Italian, it is family run, family owned, quality family recipe style Italian food all day, every day.
Them small little family joints that only have like 5 to 10 tables in them and stuff like that. Yes, that's where you go.
I want the old Italian grandmother who's yelling in the kitchen when you get there, and she comes out and she goes, "How you doing? Sit down," and she sits down with you and takes your order.
Yes. And if you tell her you had enough, she hits you in the hand with a wooden spoon and comes out with a whole nother bowl of pasta and meatball.
Mm-hmm.
We have a question.
That's where I want to go.
We have a question here. The question of all questions here. We still haven't answered the big question yet. This is from Hunter Dillon. Better side dish, French fries or onion rings?
French fries.
Depends.
French fries.
It depends on what you're eating. Honestly, if it's a burger, like just a normal burger, okay, yeah, like French fries are fine. But if you're having like a nice big Angus, like thick steak burger, I want a nice onion ring to go with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. That's fair.
Okay. Yep.
Marky, pick
fries? I'm a fat guy. I talk food all day.
I'm not a huge fan of like onions. I like the flavor that they give, but like the crunchy in my mouth is weird. I don't enjoy it.
Dude, I can eat one like an apple.
Like
you don't like vegetables in general, do you?
Not many. No.
You like corn because it's not really a vegetable.
I love potatoes, carrots. I will eat peas. I will eat green beans. I am still 8 years old, trapped in a 42-year-old's body when it comes to eating vegetables. Ask Mrs. Pins.
What about a sweet potato?
Sweet potatoes are good.
Okay.
Sweet potatoes are good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like mashed sweet potatoes. It's got that extra It's got a different earthy flavor to it.
So
roast them. They're good.
I haven't been a fan lately of. Well, I used to not be a fan of Jesus Christ, sweet potatoes for a long time. But over the past couple years, bro,
Same. When I was
sweet potatoes are.
Dude, Marky's going to tell you this. You get to be a certain age, and your taste buds just change.
It is a fact.
It's weird.
It is a fact.
I hated Brussels sprouts. I turned 35. Now I love them.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Well, I like the chat too. I like the people in the chat too.
Well, you know what I mean. Got me on that one.
Sorry, that was
sweet potatoes give you heartburn? I never heard of that before.
Cucumbers do it to me, not pickles.
Cucumbers give you
pickles.
What? How?
There's sugars in them that break down and create.
But I thought that was more of an acid thing.
I don't know what it is. It's
cucumbers give you heartburn.
Mm-hmm. But not pickles.
What? That doesn't make it. Okay, hold up.
It doesn't make sense. I agree 100%. It makes me grumpy.
Sweet potatoes with brown sugar, marshmallows, and butter. I've never had that yet before.
That's called a pie.
That's a sweet potato pie, and it is absolutely. When I was a kid, I thought it was the grossest stuff. How could you adults eat that? Now I'm an adult, and if that happens at Thanksgiving, I'm taking a scoop. I'm taking me a big old scoop. Granted, more than half of it is more of the marshmallow on the top than the yams, but at the same time, it all gets to the same place.
Cukes produce a lot of GAD. My stepdad can't eat them anymore. GAD?
Probably gas.
Oh, gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
There's a lot of chemicals
gas.
that
there it is.
The acid, mixes with the acid in your belly, and it creates other burpy and farty situations.
But you're okay with pickles, so is it something with the with the stuff that makes the pickle? Like, does it block that or something?
It's probably the vinegar. Like,
It
and
chemically changes.
I don't want to say I'm a picky pickle person because like I kind of am. I hate you, John.
Hello. I'll be right back.
I hate you, John. Anyways, it's got to be that. It's got to be that
picky pickle person. I just want to say that again.
Say it 3 times fast if you can. No, it's got to be that good like deli pickle, like crisp, crunchy. Good.
Dill or bread and butter?
Bread and butter all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm 50-50 on it. I will eat both of them.
Are you a pickled egg guy?
No. I'm not a fan of eggs.
I don't like breakfast in general, really.
I like breakfast. I just don't like eggs.
Although the bagel cafe that we went to in Denver, that breakfast was amazing.
Bagel cafe. Where was that?
Yeah. It was over. We stayed over. It's like 20 minutes from Inglewood, but it seems like everything is 20 minutes.
Oh,
from there.
This was last year, right?
Yeah, last year. Yeah. Yeah, it was like I went twice. I sat through Triple I eating a 45-minute breakfast twice just to eat there.
Yeah, how was that?
45 minutes. I could have been a hobbit and had 2 breakfasts.
Well, there's always something memorable with
Oh,
Triple
deviled
I,
eggs,
that's for
Jen.
sure.
Yes, Jen.
Deviled eggs.
Yes.
Lady Catherine says, dill for life. No bread and butter for her.
Where is Triple I, anyways?
It's almost 10:30. It's right around the time. We still got 4 matches to talk about in Never Broken, but until he shows up, we're currently in the transition to foods and belts right now, which is what the audience loves us to talk about, especially after the past couple weeks. Oh, and speak of the devil, just say his name 3 times fast, and there he is.
Triple I, Triple I, Triple
I.
Now we can't. Now he can't come on. I didn't say it 3 times.
There he is.
Picky pickle eater, picky. He's a pickle. He's that guy.
What?
Damn it, I can't say it.
What?
A picky pickle eater. A picky pickle eater. Pickle eater.
Yes.
I just ran back from the bathroom to try to say that, and I couldn't even damn say it.
I like pickles.
Tis a whole Triple I, yes. Hello, Eyes.
Well, hello.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah,
How are you not so happy and ecstatic that we have new tag champs?
Oh, that part. I am. I'm very ecstatic. I was disappointed with one thing though.
Oh boy.
And this is remember we did that episode, not to digress, we did that episode where I had to listen like an unpopular opinion or state an unpopular opinion. And my unpopular opinion was that I like JK Pop's entrance music. And I didn't get to see it because they attacked Lilith from behind before the match began.
And that is because they are poopy heads.
I know, but I like jamming out. I love it.
Can we mute him? Can we just mute him?
No. I want him to go record his version of it. So they have to play it when they come out. That's their new music, is Triple I doing their music.
Yeah.
Johnny, can we get a soundbite of that? Can you send that over to Rocky Mountain Production? Can we do that?
And don't tell him. Could you imagine him coming out? Just Triple I.
I can't wait to see the first time that they come out without those belts. I can't wait to see the first time that they come out.
I could do the soundbite right now. I think. So, if this is a thing, we'll have Triple I do that again. And I'll record it real quick and we'll see if we can capture the soundbite.
Okay.
All right, so.
muting mine just to be sure.
Yeah.
My voice didn't go that high. My voice did not go that high.
No. Yeah, that was perfect, right?
It lasted all 3 seconds.
So, go like 5 seconds this time.
Okay.
All right. So you ready?
I think so.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
Well. There you go. I don't know. I like it.
Can you do it without peeking the mic?
I like
We'll
it.
have to try it later.
Johnny, can you play that back?
It wouldn't play at that time. Give me 2 seconds here, because I'm pretty sure we're set to go. I'm just not. I don't know if it was because it was muted or what, but routing. That's voice. That's voice. Yeah, I believe we should be ready to go here. Yeah, that should be it. Oh no, chat. There you go. There you go. There we go.
It peaked on the stream too. It peaked on the stream.
It did.
It might
Yeah.
come in like choppy. That sucks.
One more time. I think we got it now.
Oh,
Well, you're gonna have to do it.
You do it again.
You're gonna have to do an intro anyway, because Just Your Average Jen already redeemed 20,000 points for a AAA intro. So, so let's get to the JK Pop thing first. Okay. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
there you go.
He sounded like one of those 1980s printers.
Dot matrix printer.
Let me see if it came through. Hold up.
I'm not doing it again. That was 3 times.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Anyway.
kind of sound. Jen's like
It did.
kind
It
of
worked.
sounded like
It worked.
That's pretty good.
That's gonna be awesome. I hope.
But Johnny, you have to pass that on to the powers that be. You have to.
And whatever
You have to
they
pass that
decide to do with it.
Hold up. Before we forget, because this is what happened last time we tried to do a soundbite, we're going to save it. There you go.
on. Yes,
There we go.
that was beautiful. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right, Jen. It sounded like a chicken getting strangled.
It's the call of the AAA.
Watch as we see him in his natural habitat.
Oh, God.
And then you just see him poke.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, so good. It's so
All
good.
right. We need a AAA intro before we continue with Never Broken.
And then we will get to Never Broken.
Yes. Go ahead, Ice.
So not only do I do a special rendition of J.K. Pop's entrance music, I have my very own entrance introduction as well. And for those of you that have not heard it, you're in for a real treat. The one and only AAA Infinite and Inspiration!
That's him picking his mic, folks. Don't worry.
I am so happy that peak happens.
My monitor has a crack in it now.
Oh boy, I'm really inspiring.
Oh,
He
God.
peaked big time. He always does. He peaks it all the time. It's fantastic.
Great, it's good. Oh my God! Oh my,
It's in the head now. There we go.
Still doing it.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Between just JK Pop's entrance music and Remy D anything, it just gets me going.
Oh, can you mix the two together?
No, I that's it. No.
He's thinking about it.
That involves JK, me singing to JK Pops, and then me dancing to Remy D, and I can't get up right now.
Well, you could do like the beginning, like do, and then do the chicken sound side that you were doing.
That's pretty good.
Oh, God.
All right.
That is a pretty sexy shirt on, though, you got eyes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
That's a pretty sexy shirt.
Absolutely.
All right, boys. You guys ready for the second half? Second half of Never Broken here. All right. Somebody had to say I quit. I don't even think we heard I quit here in this matchup. Dax Draper versus Curtis Cole.
And Curtis Cole's tag team partner, the Brass Knuckles. Now, I get that this was a no DQ match. I get that. Actually, probably a sound strategy. I mean, Cole's giving up, 35, 45 pounds and a lot of reach. I can't say I blame him for wanting to even the odds up, and it almost helped him win. It did. But I'm telling you guys, Dak Draper is just, that's different. Like, to fight through all of that, we talked about gutsy with Remy, but Dax was super gutsy tonight. I mean, all those shots to the ribs, grinding those knuckles in, and taking a shot to the stomach, 5 or so minutes into the match off the top rope with Brass Knuckles. He earned this victory tonight, hands down, and I am so glad that he made Curtis Cole mumble, I quit.
I mean, Ref Eli rang the bell. He had to have heard it. Regardless of what Cole said when he ran out of the ring and said, no, I didn't say it, referee rang the bell. Referee Eli was right on top of it the entire time, asking everybody, do you quit? There was no, what do you say, or any of that. He was clear, he was concise, and he rang the bell at the time when he heard Curtis Cole say it. Whether the microphone heard it or not is irrelevant. Ref Eli heard it, and he rang the bell. And I think most anybody would have said it in that moment, because Dak, the amount of torque that he was putting on Curtis Cole's body up in that half fireman's carry when he had him up like that, and he was just shaking the life out of him. All right, anybody would want that to stop, and let alone coming from a guy like a Dak Draper who's 6'5", 6'6", and just up and down and just absolutely shaking the life out of your head. You have to get that to stop, otherwise your eyes are just going to fall out of your head. And Cole had to have said it, regardless of what he said at the end. What do you think, Triple I? You think he said it? Or you think that we're kind of chasing a goose chase here?
Well, there's no way. I mean, why else would Ref Eli call the bell? Why else would he? And I think it's even if he passes out, you're not calling the bell, because we saw that earlier when early in the match, when the roles were reversed, Curtis Cole gained the upper advantage first with the knucks and knocked out Dak. And Dak was knocked out cold for several seconds. And the thing is, you knocked out cold. You can't say the words "I quit." So therefore, Ref Eli did not call the bell then. So why would he call the bell now unless he heard the words? And the thing is, Ref Eli was right there. Curtis Cole's in a modified torture rack from Draper, and Ref Eli is standing right next to him. It's not like he was far away observing; he's right next to it. So obviously, he has the best ears in the house because he's live in front of both competitors. And he's the closest as well. I do want to give credit to Curtis Cole though. Nux or not, he had a good strategy, guys, about this entering the match. He targeted Dak's ribs, his rib cage and everything. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care if you have an extra 30, 40 pounds of muscle on you, or if you're taller or whatever. It doesn't matter. A man can't breathe. A man can't breathe, and that limits your arsenal of whatever it is. All right, your focus is on breathing. When you focus on breathing, Marky and Coastal, you focus on surviving. Not even winning, but surviving.
You can't breathe, you can't fight.
Exactly. So great strategy by Curtis Cole in the beginning of this match. I commend him for that. But guys, it was somewhat counterintuitive almost, and here's why. You target the ribs. They can't breathe. Coastal, you said they can't breathe. A man can't, he can't breathe. He can't do anything. But if he can't breathe, that means he really can't talk either. You're gasping for air. You're trying to get your wits about you. So it's kind of hard to say the words "I quit" because you can't talk because you're trying to breathe. So it almost worked against him in a way, which we kind of saw when he was knocked out somewhat. But maybe people disagree with me with that opinion, but just an observation that I noticed while watching the match. But great match, and also a great spot when we saw Dax hit the superplex on Cole from outside on the ring apron to bring him back in the ring. That was huge because that's what set up that modified torture act for the victory.
It was beautiful. Yeah, a guy like Dak being so powerful to be able to basically just deadlift a guy from the apron over the rope and then back down onto the canvas as hard as possible. I mean, that's how you set up a win. And then you get him up in that, like you said, that half torture rack there, and then just shake the life out of his head. He had to have said it. I'm sticking with it. I'm a ref. I'm sticking with Eli. He had to have said it.
Absolutely. And to do that deadlift superplex from the outside after having your ribs all busted up and everything, dude, that takes balls, man.
It does.
That takes balls and grit and courage. So well deserved run for Dak.
Yeah, who said something?
Please, Karen Curtis.
The rules were.
Kosa, go ahead. I'm sorry, Johnny. Kosa, what did you say?
Oh, I'm just wondering where this leaves Cole. I mean, he got beat again. This is now becoming a streak for Mr. Cole.
So Remaster One Up said the rules were never saying it into a mic, just saying it.
Oh.
Well,
Wait, say that again?
The rules were never saying it into a mic, just saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It doesn't matter if the microphone was right here or if Eli was in process of saying, "Do you quit, Curtis Cole?"
What if the guy's knocked out and he can't say anything? At that point, it's ref's discretion. I'm sorry.
Match either continues or exactly like you said, ref's discretion. That's something we train for. You learn when he could continue, if he can continue, or if it needs to end immediately.
Well, maybe we'll get an explanation from Ref Eli, on Tuesday or Thursday. We'll find out. But see what happens.
Boys, oh boys, oh boys, oh boys, we have to talk about the tag team championship match between JK Pop and La Isla. Look at the face of that man on the top right. Look at that face. And this is also the guy that picked him.
Good.
He picked JK Pop.
You know why I picked JK Pop? Okay,
Why?
It wasn't because I wanted to. Because every other time in the past when we have picked them to lose and we have said that there is no way that they can come out of this, they have found every cheat code, every loophole, every time when somebody wasn't looking. Like Coastal used to say, the gust of breeze that came in the room, the person that opened the door accidentally and just happened to knock the champ. Every single time. We've been going through this for over 2 years now. We have seen this. And to finally see the comeuppance come back and get their rightful revenge on JK Pop for all of the shenanigans, I'm telling you, the universe always wins. It always pans out the way it has to. And this right here, the universe could not deny La Isla anymore. They had a hard time the last time they wrestled him. They did not have a hard time. They wrestled them last night. The universe made sure that new tag team champions were crowned in Rocky Mountain Pro. And they are La Isla, baby.
And there is no rematches. No rematches.
No guarantee.
I don't care what Preston decides to pull up. Though? I don't care. Bossy didn't get a rematch. Damon Ace didn't get a rematch.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That's right.
JK Pop don't get a rematch.
So my only concern, and Marky, my apologies for cutting you off.
We're good.
My only concern about that, Johnny, of what you just said about the rematches, I agree with all three of you. Do you think POS is going to find some legal loophole to impose a rematch or something that we're not thinking of?
Oh, I guarantee you he is sitting down at his desk right now going through the RMP bylaws page by page right now as we speak.
Because we saw what happened last time when Full Send, defeated them and he managed to find a way to like have people listen to what the letter of the thing was and completely manipulate the given situation. I don't put it past him not to try again. You know he's going to try again.
Oh, absolutely.
That's it. JK Pop is POS's meal ticket. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it bluntly. He is they are his meal ticket. And for them to lose the titles, now where does JK Pop go? Do they even need Preston anymore? Do they take their aggression out on Preston?
Hey, that loss is
implode.
That loss is 10% on Preston, right? He gets 10% of everything.
Well, he was heavily involved in this match.
Oh yeah, Balaam made sure he was heavily involved.
Well, Balaam he got the clipboard across the cranium earlier in the match. So it made perfect sense for him to go back outside and put his own bear claw or the cat's claw or, his gigantic fist right across POS's nose and just try to break it, because POS deserves that. He's played all these little slimy games for so long. Balaam just got a little bit of what everybody hoped POS would get, and everything else that we hoped JK Pop would get happened. And La Isla looking so good in this match. Their chemistry was already really, really good. It has upped its game so far since this whole feud with JK Pop and everything that they have done to instigate and try to, throw a monkey wrench in the situation and get them to turn on each other. Everything like this. The fact that Balaam and Echo just wrestled each other last week on Ignition to move forward in the Grand Prix tournament was one thing. You would never, ever know that they just competed against each other. They are the most cohesive unit right now, maybe next to your starting lineup. Granted, they have the titles, so that means they are on top. But your starting lineup has that cohesion. La Isla has that cohesion. JK Pop had that cohesion. Now that they've lost the belts, now we're really, really going to see if that cohesion was true or if that was just the two guys sticking together because of a common cause.
Could this be the beginning of
very
the end?
Interesting.
Could this be the beginning of the end?
I also want to say, I get your point, Marky, but my other point is, I'm not trying to defend JK Pop here, but when you hold the belts for over 1,000 days, that you have to include the word, cohesiveness or cohesion. You have to. I mean, there may have been some controversial victories along the journey, along those 1,000+ days of holding the titles, but you cannot hold the titles for that long without cohesiveness. Absolutely cannot happen. It's never
cheating your ass off. Sure.
I did mention that. I did mention controversial victories in that. I absolutely did. But you have to have some cohesiveness as well. You absolutely do.
Oh, and that's what I said. You're saying I didn't say they had it. I said that they did. I said that they had it. Now that they don't have the belts.
That they were a cohesive unit. Last night when they were crying on Preston's shoulder after and they were soaking that ugly orange jacket in tears. But it must have been such a great sight.
If you were there in person, it must have been a fantastic sight. And look at this.
Man. Like there's some things like Christmas happens. Like this was like Christmas.
Really was.
We also can't forget that JK Pop had a distinct advantage over La Isla several times. One, they attacked them from behind before the bell even rang.
You're starting to sound more and more like Coastal last year, dude. Be careful where you go with this. You're really starting to make.
I have a great heel rehab facility you can go to.
What I'm trying to say is they had these advantages and they didn't capitalize on what I was going to say. And I'm just getting facts of the same things in the match that you saw, that I saw as well, that the whole world saw. They attacked La Isla from behind before the match even began. They had Preston in their corner, so you already have a numbers game. Then Preston used a clipboard as well. And then don't forget the mist that was sprayed out of Casanova's mouth as well onto Balaam, I believe. Yeah. So
he's so dirty. That's just dirty.
Yeah, that is dirty. Ugh, yuck. So you had the advantage. I mean, you had advantage after advantage after advantage after advantage, and the opportunity was not seized. So well-deserved victory for La Isla. in capturing those RMP Tag Team Championships.
We also have a question in chat.
Should have used green mist. See, that's what happens when you change colors.
I saw that question. I'd like to answer it after you read it.
So, can you guys enlighten me on something, please? And yes, Marky, you can answer because you are currently a referee as well. Why didn't the refs disqualify J.K. Pop for using the mist? It's like 1 minute the wrestler is fine, and the next he's covered in red mist. Go.
So there is something that we also train as referees, and that is how to use discretion. Okay, there are times in certain matches where the match means so much at a big situation that there are times where you can see that even though one person is using an underhanded tactic, the other team is still maintaining themselves, whether they're still in an advantageous position or if they're this close. Sometimes you have to let the boys and the girls go. Sometimes they need to finish it on their own, and the ref doesn't need to step in. I understand about the rules. I get this, but there are some times, and even in my young refereeing career, I've had to use this discretion where things happen and you have to kind of let it play out because the stakes are so very, very high. How many times have you watched a football game or a basketball game and it's a clutch moment, playoffs, getting close to the finals of whatever sport is your favorite sport, and the referees take the game or the umpires take the game out of the players' hands? I understand that there's rules and rules are to be followed, but there are some times when you just especially when the emotions are as high as they have been between JK Pop and La Isla, that you have to let it play out on its own and understand that these guys have been there before, they've seen it, and they have to be ready to go. Sometimes your job is just to count to 3. And Ref Eli used very, very good discretion in this match and made sure he just counted to 3 and let the guys settle it on their own. Because if there had this been any random, just kind of like one-off match, that'd be different. This has been a boiling feud. This hasn't just been like a feud. This has been a boiling feud that has gotten each of these teams blood curdled to the point where they can't stand each other. As a matter of fact, we've had a hashtag going around in the chat, hashtag on site, from Echo and Balaam themselves. So when things are that high and emotions are that high, as the referee, you have to exercise that level of discretion and kind of just let them settle it on their own. And at which point, I think ref made a good call in this one to let it go on its own instead of stopping it.
I know, because now we have new tag team champions.
That's how I look at it, and I think I would have made the same call. I think I would have made the same call.
And that's not being biased or anything, correct?
No, that would have just been being the guy as the around here, I'm a zebra. But if I was the guy in purple out there, I would have done the same thing.
All right. Are we all set with the historic tag team championship match between La Isla and JK Pop?
Yes.
Besides the fact of one more na 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 hey 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 goodbye.
Mark, you did that magic trick again. He made JK Pop disappear.
Back in the day, kids, we go to. Is he doing the song again?
He's doing the song again. And that wasn't my thing this time.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
God, all right. We have two very, very huge matchups to talk about here.
Yes.
Very personal on both of these matchups, including this one that we're talking. This one got more personal than I think any other match on this card. Damon Ace versus Mercury Yaden in a divided and conquer match. We're always surprised with these NRW championship matches. This one was no different.
No.
Yeah, this was super cool. I like the concept. I really dig how it was a chain in the middle or a couple chains. That was really cool. I'm glad they just didn't use like a rope or something. Like it brought a level of violence that was needed for this particular match because of the personal issues between these two guys. I honestly thought this might be where, when I saw the stipulation, I'm like, this doesn't favor Yaden. The only reason I say that is you know, you have a sick, twisted individual in Damon Ace. He loves chains to begin with. He was not, and you know he's going to use his environment to his advantage. And not saying Yaden wasn't going to do that, but this just kind of, I felt, played into Damon's hands. But Yaden is the boss man for a reason. And the effort he put forth tonight shows us, last night shows us exactly what those letters in that title means to him. And he's not letting that go at all. This was another one of throw something else at me, is what Yaden is saying. And I'm going to conquer it and overcome it. And honestly, great strategy too to leave the vest on. Think about it. That chain's going to get into your back. It's going to rip at you and stuff. That it just takes another aspect away. So good strategy there for Yaden as well.
And it ended up paying off because there were several times that Damon did get himself a hold of that smaller chain and tried to use it many, many times. And both of the guys were using the chains that were strung out across the ring. Honestly, I thought Yaden used the chains better, trying to pin Damon on the chain, like an upright pin. Did you guys notice that? And Ref Eli was counting the pin on the chain. That's his side of the ring, isn't it? So it's still valid. It's all legit. But I was with you, Coastal, on this one. I thought we've seen Yaden go in these type of no-rules matches, and we know he can bring the fury. But Damon Ace brings the violence. And this is what we've seen out of Damon, that just this... There's no way to tame the level of hostility that this man has. And when you put him in a ring where there's just a bunch of chains and you can pretty much do anything, we heard from Presidente Peligro himself that falls could count anywhere in the building. It didn't, as long as it was on your side. And that was the caveat. That was so interesting. That not only did you have to destroy your opponent, but the only way you could win is if you pinned him on your side of the ring or arena. And we saw Damon Ace mess that up a little bit. Kind of get Yaden down on Yaden's side, try to pin him, and pin's not available on that side of the ring. He tries to drag him back over. Yaden takes over. Very good, very back and forth, very violent, but very crafty way of Yaden using the chain at the end of that triple I. When we see them coming with that big running knee into the chain right into Damon's face. I mean, Damon's face is not the same today, because after last night taking that to the face, there's no way that he doesn't have like imprints all across, because Yaden did not hold back.
Yeah, so it's vicious enough taking a running knee strike, but taking a running knee strike from a big dude like Yaden and compound that, Marky, with the chain wrapped into that, you're done. I don't care who you are, you're done. And luckily, let's back up a second, guys. We have to back up a second here. I get that Yaden won the match with the running knee strike with the chain, and he pinned Damon on his side. But what led to that as well is that right before that, a few seconds before, guys, Damon hit the persona non grata. He hit his finishing move. He hit the persona non grata on Yaden, and 10 out of 10 times, your opponent is going to lose to Damon. The only thing is, when he hit the persona non grata on Yaden, he was on Yaden's side, not his own. So therefore, he had to drag Yaden, or attempt to drag Yaden to his own side. And while doing that, guys, Yaden is buying time. It's buying Yaden time, and that's exerting energy out from Damon, because you're dragging a 250-pound dude to your side, and that allows a little bit of leverage, a little bit of an opportunity for Yaden to hit that running knee strike to get that victory. So that was a crucial moment in the match, too, that we cannot forget. And I am going to sound redundant here, but there's a question in the chat from Twisted Chaser about the rules of the match. I will reiterate what Maki said. In this match, you have the chain dividing the ring in half. Yaden is on the left side, Damon's on the right side. So what it comes down to is you need to pin your opponent on your side. So for Yaden to win the match, he has to pin Damon on the left side of the ring. And for Damon to win the match, he has to pin his opponent on the right side of the ring. As far as the falls count anywhere stipulation is concerned, that is true, but you still think of the arena and you're dividing it in half still. So
right. Like extend those chains to infinity and sides. Yeah.
So with the falls count anywhere portion of the match, stipulation of the match, Yaden can again, Yaden's on the left side, so they could be near the entranceway of the arena, right next to the commentator's desk. That's the left side. Yaden can pin Damon Ace outside on the entranceway, and he'd win the match because it's on the left side. And then, and let's say they're in the arena somewhere in the stands on the right side, and Damon pins Yaden there, he wins the match because it's on the right side, whether it's inside the ring or out. That's how the rules of the match were. And I thought the stipulation was genius. I'd never seen anything like that in 30 plus years of being a professional wrestling fan. I thought that was really creative, and it requires you to think as well. You could pummel your opponent all you want. Damon is the most sadistic wrestler in RMP. We all know that. David Drake's up there too, obviously, but the conversation another day. It requires some thinking as well. Like I said, Damon hits the persona non grata. Your brain automatically thinks to cover your opponent once you hit your finisher. It's like clockwork. You are trained to do that, all right? And Mark, you being a referee, you see these wrestlers hitting their finishers all the time. What do? They go for the pin. You go for the pin. You win the match, right? So that's what Damon's trying to do. And unfortunately, that worked against him because of the stipulation, and we know what happened. So this match required not just punishing your opponent, but some ring awareness of the rules as well. But it was a really, really good match. I'm curious to see what this goes from there. I don't feel this is the end between the two of them. I really don't.
They're talking about a point system. You might have overheard the Ignition point system, because we do have a point system on Ignition to determine a number one contendership. That got brought up a couple times last night, so you might have possibly heard that.
And also earlier in this match, besides the latter half of the match, which was very violent, and the chain was being used, and now at this point, in the beginning of the match, both wrestlers showed great intelligence to the other one. Yaden using Damon's aggression and hostility against him, kind of goading him to his side of the ring. And then earlier than that, we saw both of them trying to feel each other out, and Damon seeing the opportune moment to and he just gave Yaden a straight hip toss. Very simple move. But in this connotation, you've now brought him to your side of the ring, where now you can unload with something as simple as a hip toss. Or in Mercury Yaden's case, something as simple as just saying something across the ring and goading Damon to your side of the ring. So both of these guys showing that they can absolutely bring the fury, but that they're both highly intelligent in this given situation. And in that moment, we got to give it to Damon Ace for being able to, and we've seen a couple matches now of Damon Ace and Mercury Yaden. We saw the last time the best 3 out of 5, and we saw tonight, last night we saw the divide and conquer. We've seen a lot of back and forth battle of wits, not necessarily battle of force and fists. We've seen a lot of battle of wits between each other. And to be honest, Damon Ace, being much younger and much less experienced than Mercury Yaden, having that level to be able to hang with somebody in an intelligence battle screams volumes about Damon Ace. If anybody ever has Damon Ace, do not take him lightly, even if you are bigger than Damon, which is a feat in and of itself. Do not take his intelligence lightly whatsoever. Yaden did not. And that is why he won this match.
Yeah.
Right. And one other thing I want to add, the reason why Damon Ace had this match is because he wanted to prove that he was the best wrestler, keyword wrestler, in this company. And to do that, he wanted to go through Yaden because he sees Yaden as the best wrestler. I feel that they are due for a one-on-one wrestling match. They've had a best it was a 3 out of 5, I think you said, match.
It was the knockout, pin, and submission match.
Yep. So they had. Thank you. They had that. They had the divide and conquer match. They need to have a straight wrestling match, just in my opinion. I know that sounds underwhelming or anticlimactic for some people. For me, it's not. This would be a great wrestling match between two great wrestlers in RMP. I'd love to see that.
I agree.
I agree with you guys.
All right. Well, because it's the NRW Championship on the line in these big matches, rules are out the window typically, but it has not been, I guess you could say, out of the realm for there to be a normal traditional match for the NRW Championship. It has happened before. remember it's under the champion's discretion as well.
But Johnny, Damon, just to close it up, not to prolong this, but Damon, as I said a few seconds ago, Damon wants to show that he's the best wrestler. I don't know if Damon necessarily cares about being the NRW champion. I don't know that. I could be wrong. I will not speak on behalf of him. I will never attempt to do that.
You can tell that it's not for titles, because back at Ace as well, when he beat Bruce to have his own #1 contendership match against the title of his choosing, it shows the NRW championship instead of the big boy, the RMP championship. So I'm assuming titles, which I'm assuming titles is not on his mind as per se, as him just proving to Yaden that he is the guy.
Right, and you don't, to me, being the heavyweight champion doesn't necessarily mean you're the best wrestler. The conversation of the day, So I think Damien just wants to prove he's the best wrestler in that company, and that's what he's trying to do by going after Yaden. So that's why he chose you, obviously.
Well, I also think there's a personal element.
Yes. Of course.
He's added. And that if he does take that NRW title, whether he wants it or not, he wants it. Because regardless of the given situation of what that championship stands for, he took it off of Mercury Yaden. And to Damon Ace, that is as big of a win as standing in the middle of the ring and them handing you any title. It could be anything, but it meant that much more that he would have tried to take it off of Mercury Yaden. I completely agree with you. I don't think this is over between Damon Ace and Mercury Yaden. I do not think this is over by a long shot.
No, I don't. No.
All right, boys. It's main event time.
Yes. Speaking of the big one.
Main event time here. David Drake versus Sledge for the Rocky Mountain Pro Championship. We had a winner, and it was the challenger. The challenger did not walk away with the belt.
No, he did not.
He didn't walk away.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he was laying in the middle of the ring last I saw Sledge, and that's no knock on him because he came out like a house of fire, and he took it to David Drake. And I will tell you, I think this is the closest David Drake has ever come to losing that belt since he got it.
Fact.
He got desperate. You saw desperation for once in almost the entire year where he hasn't said anything. He looked desperate, and he used a desperate measure to hang on to that title. Drake is a sick man. But Sledge making him eat the turnbuckle cable was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. That was a good way to start the match. But having your fingers wound through that too. These guys, this wasn't a wrestling match. I just talked about wrestling matches. This was a fight. This was a straight up fight. And it was a Pier 6. JR would call it a slobber knocker. It was everything that we thought it was gonna be.
And heavy shots and just destruction all over the place between these. But would you expect anything else?
No, and
in the history that they've been having lately.
Drake asking someone to hit you in the head with a pipe is weird, right?
Handing it to him is weirder.
Yeah.
Here, hit me.
When you have the advantage.
Sledge was this close too. Did you see him thinking about it?
Mm-hmm.
I think he was smart. I think David Drake was very smart for doing that.
Yeah.
Everyone speaks. Every time we talk David Drake, what do you think of? Sadistic, maniac, loose cannon, perhaps, unpredictable. No one ever uses the word smart or intelligent. And I know he got himself DQ'd, boys, but there was some game plan. There was some thought going when he wanted Sledge to bash him with the pipe. Obviously, obviously to win the match, but to retain the title. And why does he want to retain the title? Because he cares about that title, which shows he does have emotion. So we can't overlook that part. I think also we talk. I just used the word sadistic and things to that nature. When early in the match, when Sledge was having his way with David Drake, there was a point where he wrapped Drake's fingers and that exposed turnbuckle. What do you call it? The turnbuckle what?
Like
That's
cable.
a turnbuckle.
Cable. Yeah, the turnbuckle cable. Yeah, cable. Sorry, guys.
Connector to the post, I guess.
And he went to bend his fingers. Oh, so you're breaking the fingers. Drake is smiling. He was smiling while Sledge trying to do that. And this is after Sledge attacked him from behind and was giving him the beatdown of a century. So you get him the beatdown of a century from a guy twice your size, and then he's trying to break your fingers, and you're smiling about that. Who does that in a wrestling match or a fight? I'm sorry, who does that? No one. And then, so obviously, so that was interesting. I think also towards the end of the match, guys, the reason why, I could be wrong, but Drake handed Sledge the pipe. Let's back up a second here. All right. So right before that happened, Drake had the mandible maul, his finishing maneuver on Sledge, and 10 out of 10 times he applies the mandible maul on someone, they're out. Not 9 out of 10, but 10 out of 10 times they're done. Match is over. Drake knows that. However, Sledge was having none of that, and he fought out of the mandible maul. And then at this point, I think Drake just gets frustrated with it, and he's like, all right, what else am I supposed to do here? So he tries playing mind games with Sledge, like he's been doing the past several weeks with these mind games, and that's when he brought the pipe into play, or attempted to bring the pipe into play for Sledge to bash him with it. And Sledge wasn't biting, so Sledge starts beating the living crap out of him, and this is where I think Drake is like, you know what? I try to plan my finishing maneuver to the mandible maul. I try to outsmarting him by giving him the pipe to hit me with it. And now, and at this point, it's not working. I'm getting the crap getting kicked out of me. I'm just gonna do what I have to do to survive, and that's exactly what he did. He survived. He didn't win the match. He lost by DQ, but he survived. That's what it came down to, because he knew he wasn't winning that match.
I don't know if I would go as far as to say he knew he wasn't winning that match. See, I saw it a little bit different. I saw somebody who played mind games with somebody for months now and put Sledge in this like mental menagerie that he's been in, where he's letting his aggression get the better of him every single time he's out there. And then that's when David Drake has struck each and every single time. Even when Sledge found Drake out at the back of the Wimmer, Drake still came out on top of that encounter. He slammed Sledge's head into the back of that pickup truck and left Sledge just kind of laying out there at nighttime. Each time Drake has gotten the better of Sledge. Why wouldn't it happen in the middle of the match? Maybe you get Sledge to make that gigantic mistake. I don't think it had anything to do with that he didn't think. I think he was forcing Sledge to be the cause of his own downfall. And when it didn't work at that moment in time, now you're the champion. Now you have nothing else to lose. Now you have a guy who has done nothing but show that he has the 100% animosity towards you, Sledge, towards David Drake. And now you're the champion. If you get yourself DQ'd, if you tried to get him to hit you, didn't work, do you really have to fight him if you're David Drake, or do you take your pieces and kind of run away knowing that this is going to be one hell of a battle? I don't think it had anything to do with that he knew he couldn't win. I think he did it because he could. I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think he just realized he can do whatever he wants and walk away. There is a thing called champion's advantage. And David Drake took full advantage of that given situation. That rule doesn't exist where if you lose by DQ, you lose the title. That doesn't exist anymore. So he has that opportunity. Is this something we're used to seeing out of him? Yeah. Is it something that you would expect David Drake to do given the mental state that he's in and has been in? Yeah. And does it deny Sledge? Yes. Regardless of the given situation, it denies Sledge, and David Drake still walks out the winner, even though he lost the match.
That's a great synopsis, Maki, of what you just said. But there's one. I agree with most of it. There's one thing I just want to counter, and then Coastal can intervene to give his opinion as well. You mentioned how Drake has always had Sledge's number in the past, whether it's in the Wimmer Arena, the parking lot, or wherever, or in the middle of the ring when you put him in a body bag, whatever the case may be. You're absolutely right. But those were never matches, though. those were always, whether it was an interview segment or it was in the backstage somewhere in a parking lot. It was always like a different circumstance. If you get what I'm trying to say, it wasn't a straight wrestling match. It was something on the line as well that you're fighting for. So the conditions are different. The situation is different. The atmosphere is different. So I don't know. And with that being said, that leads me. That's why I said I don't know if Drake thought he could potentially win the match at this point. Because you're right, he's had the advantage all the other times, but those weren't wrestling matches. This was.
But in this match, he had a greater advantage than all of those put together. He can do one thing. Yeah, lose the match, but still walk out the champ.
True. But I'm talking right before that, though. Because he had done everything he potentially could with his finisher and trying to outsmart him. And he's like, all right, well, I've thrown the kitchen sink at him. What else can I do? Oh, I'll get myself DQ'd. I'll lose the match, but I'll still retain the championship. That's what I'm trying to get at,
Right. That's a relevant fact. I mean, it is relevant. But when you're that guy and you have the title and you come out and this other guy wants to just beat you down and just get even with you with revenge and take that title away, he's fighting with a lot more anger than he is focus. And I'm not saying Sledge isn't focused, because good God he is. But these past few weeks and this month leading up into Never Broken, Sledge has been one hell of an angry dude. And David Drake has had that number, has had Sledge's mental number to be able to throw him off in a way that we have not seen Sledge kind of be thrown off since he's come back to RMP. And Drake took that mental advantage and ran with it all the way to the end of the match. He came out with the bag in the title match. He had a plan B. If plan A did not work, plan B is just end the damn match with a pipe. Now, I want to real quick address Twisted Chaser, because he asked me about why the mist was one thing, but the pipe wasn't. So when JK Pop spat the mist, when Casanova spat the mist into Lynx's face, that's not getting hit with a 20-pound piece of metal and knocking you out cold in the center of the ring. That's blinding you and covering you with this red mist stuff. You're still able to compete. You're still able to go. You still have your faculties about you. When Sledge gets hit right in the cranium, first he got hit in the ribs, then he got hit in the cranium. He is physically incapacitated and unable to compete. It is now the referee's job to protect him and make sure that David Drake cannot continue the annihilation. I feel both referees made the correct call. Ref Spicer in this title match made the correct call because Sledge was out. He took 2 of those lead pipe shots, one to the ribs and one to the dome. He was completely incapable of defending himself. It was the correct call.
Coastal?
Yeah. I think that Marky's right. I think that was plan B. Plan A was try and win by doing what you do and rip his head in half. And plan B was I'm going to hit you with the pipe. I think he figured out that it was going to take something like that to put Sledge down. That's just how aggravated and riled up Sledge was. So I agree with Marky here. I think plan B was the pipe.
Because either way, plan A, if he wins, he walks out with the belt.
Mm-hmm.
Plan B, if he gets DQ'd, he walks out with the belt. It's a win-win scenario for somebody as twisted as David Drake is right now. It's win-win.
But I guarantee there'll be a rematch between the two, some way, somehow, for that championship.
I think Sledge is entitled because of the foreign object interference in that situation. I do think he has a case to go back to the powers that be at Rocky Mountain Pro and actually have a legitimate gripe to get himself back into a #1 contender status. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. And that, my friends, is Never Broken. We are officially on the road to milestone. Final thoughts on Never Broken?
My one question has to do with Damon Ace. Where does Damon go from here?
No rematches.
What's next? I know. What's next? That's what I want to watch.
I think it's very, very, that's going to be a very interesting going forward. I agree with Triple Eyes that I don't think that this Drake and Sledge thing is over either. Final Boss is going to have himself one hell of a bad month coming up. I don't trust Atiba to give him a break any which way. Not even breaking off one piece of the Kit Kat bar for him, man. He's going to make Boss go to the store, buy the Kit Kat bar, and then eat it right in front of him.
He's not even going to break them apart. He's going to take a big bite out of the square.
Yeah, just like a savage. That you do that, you're just a savage. If you don't break your Kit Kats apart, you're a savage. But no, great show. A lot of questions answered. However, a lot more have been raised. So off to peak of the pack we go.
Mm-hmm.
And nice.
I feel there's a lot of unanswered questions still that we're going to find out coming up on Charge and Ignition. You know, I feel like there's a lot of scores to be settled still. And the fallout, like we mentioned with the Atiba and Bruce Wayne's and Sludge and Drake ain't over, in my opinion.
Don't forget about the Asylum.
Yeah, that too. What's next with them? Are they going to recruit more members, perhaps? What's next for JK Pop as well? Who are the next contenders for La Isla's, or the first contenders for La Isla's Tag Team Championship? Eden and Damon Ace, they're not done. I doubt that they're done, in my opinion. So a lot of unanswered questions. You know, that's what I get from it. Great pay-per-view, great card, great wrestling matches, but we need to see what happens here. The roller coaster is still reaching its peak, in my opinion. No pun intended with the peak of the pack coming up, but.
And I do want to say one thing tonight in our first match where we saw Zamori and Simbodi. In this match, Zamori solidified himself, not just because he's the champion, but he solidified himself as the king of Ignition, and that the path goes through him. Zamori is on a different level now.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. All right. You have to talk about one thing. So, obviously, the fallout of Never Broken is going to happen this Tuesday on Charge at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Typically, we have a show at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for Dudes and Belts Recharge immediately after the episode. However, we're about to get hit with a snowy hurricane. And if you guys don't know what a snowy hurricane is, it's called a nor'easter.
That's 5 masshole words of the night. Nor'easter. That's 5. I still hate you.
So, as of right now, I'm going to say this live so that when people watch this VOD later on, they'll hopefully hear it.
Yeah, we're supposed to get smashed on Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's going to be bad. It's going to snow all day Tuesday into Wednesday.
Oh, into Wednesday?
Yeah.
For the maps that I saw, our areas, like where we live, at least the 3 out of the 4 of us here, we're like in between 2 to 4 to 4 to 6, but that's not what I'm worried about.
It's the wind. The
wind
65 mile an hour wind.
Going to be hit or miss right now.
And that snow, usually in these nor'easters, it's like that heavy slush that you would buy at like the store, like a slush, except everywhere.
And
not the rainbow kind either.
I love rainbow.
And it weighs down power lines.
Yes, it do. And it hates the internet.
Yep.
So, as of right now, there's still a recharge. However, if you don't follow me on socials, you should. It's Johnny Deathdrop on all platforms. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whole 9 yards. If you don't hear anything from me, and I say this every time there's a show in question, if you don't hear anything on my socials, expect us to be live at 7. So, these snowy hurricanes, man.
Training will probably be canceled on Tuesday night too, so I'll be able to be here.
Yeah, more than likely.
How are you guys only getting 4 to 6? I'm going to get a foot again.
Yeah, we're only getting
Temperatures are going to be hovering right around where it's going to be like rain for an hour and a half, and then
we're
3 hours
supposed to
straight
be
snow.
we're supposed to be like near 40 for the majority of the day. Most of our snow is going to happen overnight, like when it gets colder.
Yeah, mine's going to be all day on Tuesday. Yay.
So
then at night, all the water underneath the snow is going to freeze, and cars are going to be sliding all over the place. And
oh yeah, it's definitely going to be a refreeze.
Yeah,
but
it's going to be a shitstorm.
Yeah,
this should be the last one though. This should be the last one of the year.
I'm supposed to go in the office Wednesday. Hopefully that will change.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah,
I'll just keep my laptop at home and do the show on Tuesday.
So that is what's coming on Tuesday. Other than that, we don't have to really shout out any big events because there's not going to be any big events for at least another month or so before Peak of the Pack. So we have a break. We can breathe. No house shows, no nothing. Just Charge and Ignition Tuesday and Thursday, along with Recharge and Reignited following those shows.
The roster had a hell of a week last week with everything with Ignition, and then the Ball Arena, that story, and all the
Charge
Never Broken
tapings today.
last night. Charge tapings today. Man, they need a couple days off. They've entertained us very, very well over the last few weeks and given us plenty to talk about. A couple really important days of rest.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to sign off for the evening. But don't forget to check out the Fallout of Never Broken live as it premieres on YouTube, youtube.com/Rocky Mountain Pro at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, followed by Dudes and Belts Recharge as of now at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. For all of us here on the Dudes and Belts, Culture Crusader on the top left, Rocky Pins on the top right, and Eyes on the bottom. We will see you guys. We will see you guys soon for another episode of Foods and Belts here on YouTube and Twitch. As always, folks, stay safe, stay classy, and we'll see y'all in the next one.